5枚目に悪魔が住む。
When Naruto took down Pain and became the hero of Konoha Village, weebs like me shed tears of joy because we knew just how much humiliation and hatred our protagonist had to endure before getting acknowledged for his actions. I mean, there's just something ultra hype about watching a downtrodden character make a stunning comeback. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you guys about 10 new anime where a character returns triumphant after facing a lot of humiliation or betrayal. The first anime on our list is War God System. I'm counting on you. This Chinese anime follows the adventures of Lin, who is quite literally kidnapped by a god and sent to a spiritual world to study the art of cultivation. He eventually enrolls in the best academy and soon goes through a ranking process. Now, even though he has a letter of recommendation from God, for some reason he gets an incredible score of 0 during his evaluation. This causes the entire school to make fun of him and call him a fraud. Lin himself believes that the god made a mistake by choosing him, but he soon figures out how to use the War God system given to him by the old deity. By using this system, he gets stronger at an insane rate, and soon he's taking on enemies that are trying to end the spiritual world. His rise from 0 to hero is both thrilling and hilarious at the same time. At number 9, we have Chilling in My 30s after getting fired from the Demon King's army. As you can guess from the name, it's another light novel adaptation. The story here follows Daryl, who is a loyal soldier in the Demon King's army. However, unlike other demons, he can't really use magic, which is why he gets fired from the army. After suffering this humiliation, Daryl starts roaming around the world with no clear objective in mind, and during his travels, he ends up saving a human girl who takes him to her village. There, Daryl learns that the reason behind his inability to use magic is simple. He isn't a demon. In fact, he's a full-fledged human being, and a very strong one at that. And as he slowly learns to unlock his secret potential, he becomes a big threat to the demons who once threw him out like trash. Next up, we have The Fruit of Evolution, which is another anime where the MC gets kidnapped by a god.
At least my tolerance for them is building up.
However, this time the god actually kidnaps the entire school alongside our protagonist Seiichi. Now, before he got transferred to another world, Seiichi was getting bullied by his classmates for being overweight. His life was miserable, and because of this, God sends him to a forest, instead of the academy where the other students are sent. In the forest, Seiichi steals a bunch of fruits from a pack of gorillas. I mean, the frickin' balls on this guy. Now, after he chomps down on a strange fruit called the Fruit of Evolution, he gets the ability to acquire any skill instantly. So while his fellow students are wasting their time in the academy, Seiichi becomes strong enough to defeat the legendary Demon Lord. I mean, my man is making records on his quest to reach the top, and his journey is probably one of the funniest I've ever seen. At number 7, we have the strongest sage with the weakest crest. A show where the MC, who's a legendary sage, kills himself because he can't really grow his magical abilities anymore. I mean, goddamn, these nerds are getting out of hand. Anyway, he reincarnates thousands of years later as a boy named Matty. Now, in this second life, he has been blessed with the ability to use battle magic. This was the one category he always coveted. However, to his utter surprise, these days battle mages are considered failures because of their inability to use higher magic. As a result of this, our MC is humiliated at every turn. But thanks to his insane knowledge from his previous life, Matty manages to surpass expectations and become the strongest mage in the world. Coming up at number 6, we have Ningen Fushin, a fantasy show that's really kept me entertained this winter season so far.
Let's them organize and attack in formation.
The show begins when veteran adventurer Nick gets kicked out of his party by his leader. What's even worse is just how casually the girl of his dreams breaks up with him and leaves him in a miserable state. Now here's the hilarious part. This adventurer who likes to slay monsters becomes a fan of an idol and wastes his days buying up all sorts of useless crap. This all changes, however, when one day he finds himself sitting in a pub with 3 other solo adventurers who have been betrayed just like him. Eventually, these outcasts decide to form a party without knowing just how much their union is going to change the world. Up next, we have Campfire cooking in another world, which is quickly becoming my favorite isekai this season. The anime tells the story of Makuda, a 27-year-old dude who gets summoned to a kingdom whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. His job is to protect this kingdom, but unlike other heroes, he doesn't possess any fighting skills. This leads him to getting kicked out of the palace, shield hero style. His only skill is the ability to buy things from Earth using the money from this strange world. While it seemed useless to the royal family, Makuda soon discovers just how insanely rich he can get by selling things like pepper and bread in this world. And things don't just end there either. Thanks to his spicy and aromatic food, he gets the chance to become a partner of a mythical spirit that can quite literally destroy entire countries. So yeah, it turns out the online shopping store is the greatest invention in human history. At number 4, we have the beautifully animated Spare Me, Great Lord.
我这不是就成了传说中的别人越恐惧我就越强大的大魔王了吗？
This Chinese anime starts off by showing how our protagonist Lushu was abandoned by his mother and left at an orphanage. Growing up, he had to endure quite a lot of bullying, but he always tried to be there for his kid sister. He even works hard to pay for both of their education, but things are tough for this high schooler. One night, his luck seems to run out completely when a truck runs him over in the middle of the road. Thinking it might be the end, Lushu is wondering what he achieved in his tough life when suddenly something inside him wakes up. His body repairs itself and he manages to escape death's clutches. Even more surprisingly, he seems to have developed a system that gives him money for scaring the shit out of people. And this is only the surface of his true strength. Using these broken abilities, he decides to take on the unfair system and the horrible people behind it. Moving on, we have Tomodachi Game at number 3 on our list.
最後の投票する前に
The anime is a banger despite its obvious flaws. It tells the story of high schooler Yuichi, who gets betrayed by his best friend. Now, stuck in a life-threatening game, Yuichi has only one choice: bring out his inner demon to fight against the rigged game and its founders. And my god, does he find some brutal ways to counter everything thrown at him. He doesn't give a rat's ass about good or bad anymore. All he cares about is saving the people he loves while making his enemies pay with their sanity. At the runner-up spot, we have the ultimate blockbuster Chainsaw Man. Now, betrayal and humiliation don't even begin to explain what happened to poor Denji as a kid. He loses his organs and works like a dog to pay off debt he didn't even take. He's living in so much poverty that he dreams of bread and jam, as if it was Michelin-star food. And despite giving all he has, he gets betrayed and ends up becoming a victim of a devil. But that's where his troubles end and his rise begins. From the ashes of his humanity comes a hero who's going to change the entire world of Chainsaw Man. Now, before we reveal the number 1 entry on our list, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any more content like this. And finally, the number 1 anime on our list is Cyberpunk Edgerunners. A show that gave us one of the most moving stories in anime history. The show follows David, a kid whose poverty makes him an ideal target for his bullies at his prestigious school. This poverty also leads him to watching helplessly as his mother dies in front of him while the medics just stand around. With his mum gone, home out of reach, and mind at its edge, David decides to become a cyberpunk. This decision leads him on a journey to the top of the food chain in Night City. He starts earning an insane amount of money and even becomes strong enough to protect the ones he loves. However, it all comes at a cost, and by the end of the show, we realize that sometimes the cost of success can be too much, even for the strongest of men. And that brings an end to today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.